Readers, I am so excited to start our new unit today, Fantasy Book Clubs. This is year after year, fifth graders, one of their favorite reading units, and we are going to launch it together. And the first thing I want to do to launch this unit is I want to teach you a way to help you orient yourself to your fantasy books. Because when you're reading any book, you want to sort of open it up and figure out who, what, when, where, why. And specifically today, I want to teach you that writers want to think about where is this story taking place. So the thing I want to teach you today is fantasy writers pay attention to the setting. But there are different kinds of settings to pay attention to. And so today's mini lesson is going to look a little bit different. I'm going to just show you some clips that illustrate the different kinds of settings that exist. The first one that exists in any fantasy book, there's going to be three I'm going to show you, is that you'll read about a real world that has magical elements. So let me show you a clip of a movie, classic movie that you may have seen, and pay attention to this setting. How does this show the real world with magical elements? Here we go.
Flipper? I don't remember any of the Flipper. The fish joint. You found that comb in the bouillabaisse. Oh, yeah, I like that joint. Bonjour, Mr. Higgins. Harry, take your hat off. Can't. This is a nice place. You can't wear a hat inside. I can't take it off. Harry, nobody cares what your hair looks like. I can't get it off. I can't get it off. I never. Oh, just a minute. I'm gonna get this hat off. I'm pulling it. I think the head's rolled up here. You're pulling your skin. You're such a baby. Stop it. 5 is a fuse to the head. 5 is a fuse? What is that supposed to mean?
Okay, as you can see, that's an example of the first kind of setting that you may read about, which is there's a real world with magical elements. In this case, there was a hat that would not come off the character's head. Another type of setting that we will find in fantasy books is a setting that looks like this. It's a real world, but then there's a portal to a magical world. Let me show you another clip from another movie you may have seen. This one, I believe, is from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Pay attention to these settings. How does this show real world with a portal to a magical world? Pretty incredible, huh? So that's the second kind of setting that you'll see. Real world with a portal to a magical world. The third kind of setting that you'll see is a world that is simply all magic. It's just a magical world. And you'll see a lot of books and movies like this. I'm going to show you a scene from one of my favorites, from the Lord of the Rings. And I want you to pay attention to how this setting is different from the first two, it being a magical world. This is a scene where a Balrog monster is chasing down Frodo and the Fellowship, and Gandalf the Wizard turns around to face the monster.
And servant of Springfire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. I am summoning you, flame of Udon! The shadow.
All right. Whew. Classic scene. So there are three settings that you want to pay attention to when you are reading fantasy. And this is to help orient you to the text, to figure out like who, what, when, where, why, and specifically you want to figure out where. As we've been reading our read aloud book together, The Thief of Always, we've noticed so far that the setting seems to be initially at least real world with magical elements, right? The main character is at home, and the strange character Rictus arrives. But as we keep reading this book, we might find that the setting might change. So anytime that you're reading, you want to be flexible as well, because the setting could change. It could turn out that this setting is a portal to a magical world, right? Or maybe we find out the world is magical. So orient yourself to the text anytime you're reading any book, but specifically when you're reading fantasy. One of the things you can do is pay attention to how the setting is shared so that you can figure out what's going on and specifically where. Have fun reading today.